this time, this one. But he would say that lexicality is not only a matter of locating or understanding the statements to be located in terms of temporality and space, some kind of structured space always, obviously. As soon as we take explicit statements, then it's not an abstract space and not an abstract temporality, but also in terms of orders of value. Okay, so in other words, if we are happy to embrace the understanding that knowledge is positioned, then what it also entails, but now I spell out very explicitly, is that every statement, insofar as that statement registers with you as meaningful, like, yes, that's how it usually is, like the shoe, okay? Even if it looks like mundane, nevertheless, it is meaningful from within a particular position and perspective. So every statement inevitably is value laden. Then you cannot deal in non-biased, neutral, valueless statements anymore. Whether you like it or not, okay, at least, okay, then according to this understanding, then there is no neutral space where the statements are floating, and then you take them and insert them into a particular situation and attribute values to it. No. So every statement is meaningful according to Voloshinov, in the sense that every statement is always a nexus of something that you can hear because of your discursive past as something that is said, but what you hear as something that is said, if you are able to follow me, for instance, now, okay, it can be heard as said because it is embedded within lots of unsaid but assumed statements that should also be the case, that should be standing in order for something that you hear to be said to be meaningful the way it is meaningful for you at the moment. Therefore, if you want to be nasty and exclusionary, you do not even have to use categories of stigmatization. Like in Hungary, everybody loves to make anti-Gypsy statements, anti-Jewish statements, homophobic statements. So these are the three most favorable ones. These days, actually, anti-gender studies statements as well. So yesterday when I heard gender ideology, I thought, oh, now it means something very different these days. When you hear someone talking about gender ideology, it means like feminism is the new form of cultural Kampf, intentionally using Hitler's concept of Kulturkampf, okay? Yes. So feminazis are everywhere, fine. So but what I am trying to say with this is that you don't have to say like you are a feminazi, okay? In order to make a statement that is stigmatizing, okay? It's okay if you make statements that are usually just assumed to be resonating with something that is explicit, and then you are still stigmatizing. And these are the understatements, okay? You did not say anything explicitly rude. You are just articulating the assumptions. And then the assumptions are said, and in order for that statement to be meaningful, you also have to be forced to articulate or think of something, if you had pronounced, would be really nasty and stigmatizing, okay? Like, you can call yourself a secular feminist without explicitly clarifying how you stand in relation to religion. I understand in this country, okay? And this is true of every statement. But it's a potential, it's a limit, an inevitable limit, but also a potential of which we can make use. And when, therefore, we put together these new curricula or want to update them or reconfigure them, okay? Then I suppose what we need to ask is, for instance, on the basis of what I heard yesterday, is like, who is this student imagined to be? In the sense like, what is this student of gender studies is imagined to be coming from, wishing to do, through the studies? What is the identity of the program itself, not just the participants, okay? Like, what is it going to do in relation to reproducing the elite, reinforcing the already existing social exclusions, assuming that we are terribly democratic, yes, within what limits, with what scope, to what extent, or what about the participants, the scholars' identity as well? Are they subscribing to, or are they speaking the voice of critical feminist reflections, or are they going to be speaking more a discourse of woman-centeredness? Like, to talk about women left, right, and center, in my humble understanding, does not have anything by definition to do with feminism. Okay? You could be the most traditionalist, most hegemonic masculinist representative, even in this room, okay, appreciating all the work that women can do for society. Thank you very much. I don't want you to appreciate all that I can do for society without discussing what you mean by that. And I'm not going to sort of like collapse on my falls. So, in other words, I think when we are talking about the curricula on Thursday, we would also have to ask questions about, if you wish, I heard yesterday, like some kind of understanding of how important consciousness raising should be, okay? I'm not going to challenge that. Let's take it at face value that it's important to make us think, okay, but us as well, who are putting together the curriculum, and also all the stakeholders in the different universities where these programs are supposed to be introduced, okay? It's not enough to think that I am tolerant, you know? Who would like to be tolerated? We want to be recognized, and that's a huge difference. Thank you very much for your attention.